slightly frazzled, Gene Whip. Had a pretty busy couple days. I probably ought to take your hat and turn it this way on you, but I won't. Gene, your reflections over Tuesday and Thursday's events.
We've had some just great racing out there. We've had a couple of minor incidents on the race course itself. Fortunately, there have been no serious injuries at all. And of course, in this kind of competition, as tight as it is, we look for that first, that safety. We got some real good points races coming up here for today that are going to be decided. In many of the classes, it's still a toss-up. Probably one of the most unique would be in the Class 1 open class, because Fabio Buzzi and his crew were late for the drivers' meeting. Although they won both days, they received a 3-minute penalty Thursday. That put them back to 4th place, which certainly is going to make the open class a real shootout. Don Johnson came through with his first win Thursday, and he's exciting, leading the points going into the Superboat final. And now that we've run the sportsman classes, they're halfway through their event, and I think it's just going to be great. And just hope again for another good, safe day and a great World Championship.
I know that we've been watching this and filming it from the freeze-frame video helicopter, and we've been noticing the same thing, a lot of really tight competition. We watched some open class and some modified boats running along deck to deck at 110 miles an hour, and it was really exciting looking at the points race. It's going to be real tight, even down through the sportsman races.
Definitely. It's no one has it won right now, and I think it's going to be a great day for it, and looks like the weather's going to cooperate. It's going to be kind of continuous as we've had Tuesday and Thursday. Enough sea out there to give the V-bottom some chance, but not enough to knock the cats down altogether. But I look forward to a real good day, and we hope to crown some real great world champions today.
Gene, thanks for taking this time out. We know you got a busy schedule this morning, a driver's meeting to run, and then some fierce competition. We wish you well, and thanks for putting the effort into the sport.
Thank you.
Medical copters will be allowed. So as you can see, we are now in your open race course. Well, as you can see, we now join the D start, which is already in progress, and it's a very clean start at that. Right in the middle of your picture, that's Believer, and on the outside of Believer, that is Hot Race Team. As you can see, we've got a bit of whitewater chop out there, 2 to 3 foot seas right now, and that should be the prevailing conditions throughout the race. On the inside, or actually on the outside of Believer, that is G. Willikers race team, and on the far outside, that is Raz. So you've got Raz on the far outside, then it comes in on Hot, G. Willikers, and Believer right there. Right now we're going to highlight the Believer race team. Team Believer, D50. This is a 31-foot Revolution Cat, which is powered by 3 Mercury Marine outboards, 2.4 liters. This boat is owned by Bob Martin from Utica, Michigan. Bob is also doing the throttles. His driver today is Bill Wright from East Detroit, Michigan, and Jim Ferran is the navigator. His crew chief is Connie Martin, chief mechanic Joe Allen, and the crew member under Joe is Ralph Bickfold, who's done a great job in preparing this Team Believer race team. Team Believer looking very good right now. There you see Hot, who just ran into some sort of problem, and they are slowing down in the race course. We hope it is nothing serious. Some of the sponsors who have really been a help to Team Believer are Prevailer Gel Batteries, Amsalt Synthetic Lubricants, Hydrex Resin, KVH Compasses, Autometer Instruments, Spare Air Breathing Apparatus, Mayfair Steering, Mercury Marine, A&E Graphics, Continental Trailers, B Brackets Security Race Products, AZ Propellers, Royal Oak Ford, Ford Tow Vehicles, Filter Engineering Company, Pabco Fluid Power, and McNichols Anodize. All of these sponsors have done a great job in really lending a supporting hand to the Team Believer race team, hoping that they will have a very strong campaign for the 1988 World Championships, catapulting them into the 89 campaign. Team Believer from the Key West World Championships. Now we come up on D13, another boat that had a very clean start. the G. Willikers race team. This is a 32-foot Scorpion powered by twin Offshore Incorporated inboard motors with 750 horsepower each. This boat is driven by Eddie Marin from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Julio De Verona from Miami is on your throttles, and Manny Gomez, also from Miami, is your navigator. This boat is sponsored by G. Willikers Nightclub. And a special thanks would like to be extended to Pete from Offshore Marine and everyone at G. Willikers Nightclub for helping this crew have the fine campaign that they've had. G. Willikers is presently running in the middle of your pack right now. He's had a good start, coming off a little bit. Boats to contend with are Raz, Hot, who you saw, Chet's Landing coming up, and Team Believer, who you saw earlier on. But right now, G. Willikers is sounding very strong with those twin 750 horsepower Offshore Incorporated inboard motors. The G. Willikers race team from Key West, Florida. Julio De Verona is doing a great job on the throttles for the G. Willikers race team right now. They're really tearing up the course right here, and they are having a fine run. Now we come up to another D-class boat. This is D4, Chet's Landing. It is a 30-foot red and black Chris Cat powered by three 2.4 Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned and driven by Chester Kahn from Wayland, Massachusetts. Rich Little from Hull, Mass. is on your throttles, and Eddie Webb, also from Mass., is your navigator. Crew members Janie Beth Kahn, Michelle Kahn, and Joshua Kahn have done a great job in helping Chester prepare the Chet's Landing race boat. The sponsors who have helped get this boat really going for the 88 campaign is who it's named after, Chet's Landing Restaurant in Hull, Massachusetts, and the Waveland Marina has done a great job in preparing this boat. Ed Webb and Dick Little have done a great job in working on these motors and just keep them constantly maintained and up to race preparations as needed. They had a relatively good 1988 campaign in the Northeast Circuit, and they're coming down here to have a good run. Chet's Landing had a second place in our first race on Thursday, and right now they are running in the lead pack, as you see, with Hot, Team Believer, and Raz, who got an earlier lead also. So Chet's Landing does need a good performance today, and with a good showing today, he can finish in the top 3 finishers for Sportsman D class in Key West, Florida. So with that, let's sit back and watch Chester Kahn's Chet's Landing having a fine run in the 88 World Championships in Key West. Chet's Landing. Chet's Landing enjoying a very good run at this time. Rich Little really has this boat dialed in quite nicely. Now we come up on one of your sea competitors. This boat is the Pipeline Express. This all sleek 30-foot Shadow Cat is powered by twin Chevy inboards, 475 horsepower apiece. And it's got Mercury outdrives. This boat is owned and driven by Robert Chug from Lawlett, New Jersey. His navigator is Edward Allen from Toms River. And from Toms River, he's got Rich Dan Cision on the throttles for the Pipeline Express. And on the outside there, that is Black Sunday. We've got a good drag race going with Black Sunday on the outside and Pipeline Express on the inside. Pipeline Express having a good run right now. He's in the lead pack with Breakout and Marine Machine. Pipeline Express took a second place in Thursday's race, so a good performance here today will also put the Pipeline Express in your top 3 finishers. They really know what's expected of him. Robert and his crew did a fine job in just doing some minor adjustments for today's race, and the boat is responding quite admirably right here. They've got a clean start, and they're certainly holding their own. C41, the Pipeline race team, having a good showing today, and if they can finish the way they started, they will be in the top 3 finishers in class, and he's closing the gap right now with Black Sunday. Great offshore racing put on here by Pipeline Express. That's Team Believer and Pipeline coming into the Mallory Square area. That is restricted airspace, so we cannot stay with that team. So we're going to be picking up another boat right here. Right here, we're on top of Breakout Race Team, C24, and they are breaking out right here. This is a 33-foot Maverick powered by twin Chevy inboards with 1,150 horsepower combined. These guys are your 1988 Great Lakes Trophy winner. They're your Central Division High Points winner in 87 and 88. So this crew is for real, the Breakout Race Team. This boat is owned and driven by Al Gersteinberger from Farmington Hills, Michigan. On throttles, he's got Bob Litch from St. Clair Shores, Michigan. And his navigator is George Handyside from Taylor, Michigan. Doug Schultz, Steve Moschlink, Keith Stevens, and Mark Pysak make out the crew members for the Breakout Race Team, who have done quite a bit of work to keep this boat in one piece and running as strong as they do. Special thanks go out to Mike Bennett and Home Port. The home port is Shipwreck Marine on Lake St. Clair, and they'd also like to thank all their sponsors and friends who've done a great job in making Breakout Race Team the true champion that they is. Breakout is having a fine run right now. They had a third place in Thursday's race, and right now they're presently running in first place ahead of Spirit of New Jersey and holding off a hard-charging Pipeline, who we just saw earlier on. From Key West, Florida, the Breakout Race Team, and just listen to Bob Litch doing his thing on the throttles. Breakout Race Team. Here we're with Breakout Race Team, having a very strong run in C Division. You also get an idea of just how rough the seas are right now. You see a good steady 3-foot chop right there. A lot of white water, as you can see, but these boats are going through it nonetheless. And here's your second place boat in class right now. That's the Pipeline Express, also charging hard and trying to close the gap on Breakout. And there's Hot Race Team with M&M Marine Machine in close pursuit. Very tight racing in C Division. You've got Breakout. Then you saw Pipeline. They're right there in your picture. You've got Hot and the M&M Race Team on the outside. This is awesome racing right here. Very competitive in the C Division. Freeze Frame Video brings you nothing but the best in offshore powerboat race footage. The World Championships in Key West bring out the best in everyone. And right now with Marine Machine running a close fourth place, let's highlight the boat D18 Hot Race Team right there in the center of your picture right now. This 1987 32-foot all-white skater is powered by twin Johnson Outboards 300 horsepower each. This boat is owned by Roy Hallman from Chicago, Illinois, who is doing the throttling, and his driver today is Robert Reynolds from Lansing, Illinois. These Johnson Outboards are doing a great job for this 32-foot skater catamaran. These guys had a great year in '88. First in Grand Haven, first Traverse City, third Bay City, third in Atlantic City. The '88 campaign was very, very good for Hot Race Team. Roy Hellman would like to extend a special thanks to Dina and Larry Triplex of Triplex Marine for all their help. Also a special thanks to his loving wife, Jeannie Hellman, for driving the boat to a first-place win in Grand Haven, Michigan. And a special thanks to Robert Reynolds of Kilroy's Bar and Restaurant for all their support. And of course, he'd like to thank all the guys at Mr. Frank's, Boyson Engineering for help with power reads, and Joe's and Jerry's at Stillwater Marine. Special thanks to Mr. Burt and the Ware of Garrison Bright Marine in Key West, Florida. The hot race team, and right now, as you can see, they're looking very, very hot. He's holding off M&M Race Team right now, and he's trying to close the gap between himself and Pipeline and the Breakout Race Team. From Key West, Florida, it is Roy Hellman's Hot Race Team enjoying an excellent run. Hot Race Team, although he is a D boat, and Breakout Pipeline and M&M are C boats, they are in different divisions, obviously, but nonetheless, the competition is extraordinary right now, and just running with the other boats does get the adrenaline up. Hot had a 6th place finish in Thursday's race, but mathematically speaking, if he can finish in the top 3 here for Saturday, he could wind up as a top 3 finisher in the D class. So with that, we wish them all the best. The Hot Race Team from Key West, Florida. Now we're coming up on C38, Marine Machine. But coming up on the inside of Marine Machine and underneath our freeze frame copter, that's Pipeline Express, who is chasing Breakout. That is an extraordinary race going on in C Division. But here we're coming back up to C38, Marine Machine. Marine Machine and Pipeline right there. And that's Hot, who you saw earlier on. The Hot Race Team is also enjoying a good run, and he is closing the gap. Hot needs to have a good performance today to finish in the top 3, and the way he's looking right now, we think he will be capable of doing that. Hot Race Team having a good run. Doing a good job throttling. There's some of the rest of the fleet behind, and you just see the catamarans getting up over some of this rough water conditions. And right here it's C38, Marine Machine, who is in a very big duel, I should say, with Pipeline. Marine Machine and Pipeline running 2nd and 3rd right now in class, and they're going at it head-to-head. C38, the Marine Machine. It is a 32-foot Midnight Express deep V hull, powered by 3 240-horsepower Mercury outboards. This boat is owned by Pedro Medina III from Miami, who is also your driver. Charles Ortiz from Miami is your navigator. And on throttles, you've got Brent May from North Miami, Florida. Marine Machine is looking very good right now. They took a 4th place in Thursday's race, so they need a very strong finish here today because the competition is very tough between Breakout, Spirit of New Jersey, Pipeline, who you saw earlier on. So he knows what he has to do. He needs a very strong finish. Pedro would like to extend a special thanks to his folks, and especially his dad, for all the support and inspiration that they have lent him to get this to be a successful campaign. And of course, Alex and Yoki Perez, Yvette and Juan Valdez, and his dad and mom, who have all been an integral part of the crew to make Marine Machine a strong leader. Let's listen to them do some of their hot racing, and they have a great throttle man in Brett May. Earlier on, Vic Spellberg had a chance to chat with Pedro de Medina to get his feelings on today's race.
4th place finish on Thursday. They thought the weather would be a little bit rougher, and Thursday morning the wind sort of died down. Strategy for today?
Do the same thing again. Just do as best as we can and finish where we can.
Mathematically, are you still in the hunt? I guess other people, you don't control your destiny. Other people have to break down for you to win it. Is that right?
Absolutely. There's 2 cats out there, the Pipeline and the Hydra cat. If they don't make it, then it's just me and Renegade, and then it's a battle of the V's. If it gets rough, hopefully we're going to put it to them.
Well, the wind's picking up a little bit here Saturday morning in Key West, and we'll see what happens. If it keeps on going, it's the deep V's, and if it settles down, we'll probably see cats at the finish. Good luck.
Thank you.
M&M race team having a very fine run. Pedro enjoying another great day out here in Key West. And here is definitely an unfortunate sight. We hope they're all right. I see here that it's C37, endangered species. It is a 34-foot Zutphen V who must have spun out and is upside down. We get word over the radio that the driver, Clayton Wilson, navigator Tim Noto, and Rick Lamore, the throttle man, are all okay. So that is very fortunate. The medical staff was there right away, and we do get word that all the crew is fine, and that is definitely a relief. That is a bad vision of a boat right there, but when you do hear that the drivers are okay, that's a great feeling, and we did hear also that Lady L stopped to help out. That is very good sportsmanship, and you love to see it out here in the APBA. Now we come up on C100. The heat is on. This is a 32-foot all-yellow Manta deep V hull powered by twin 650 horsepower Bandit Tampa Bay Marine inboard motors with Mercruiser drives. This boat is owned and throttled by John Provenzano from Tampa, Florida. His driver is Scott Lehman from Boca Raton, and JB Lehman is your navigator. The heat is on, race team. The heat is on. Due to some mechanical difficulty, they did not start Thursday's run, so nonetheless, he would like to have a very strong showing here today and perhaps get a first in class. Right now, he's presently running in the middle of the pack in 5th place, behind some of your other boats. Breakout, Spirit of New Jersey, Pipeline, and Marine Machine, who you saw having a very strong run. The heat is on. John Provenzano has his work cut out for him, but he's going all out right here at this point in the race. C100, the heat is on race team from Key West, Florida. The heat is on race team. They're heading toward the restricted flight area as he heads towards Mallory Square and into the town of Key West. We'll have to leave them here and head back out to the race course to pick up another competitor. And here's one now, A69 in the A division, Cheap Thrills 2. This is a 26-foot Martini deep V hull powered by a single 420 horsepower Chevrolet Merc Cruiser inboard with a Merc Cruiser outdrive. This boat is owned and driven by Andy Bodrock from North Olmsted, Ohio, and from Sagamore Hills, Ohio, on throttles, he's got Ron Hall, the Cheap Thrills 2 race team. And the crew members are Dee Dee and Barb, who've done a fine job in helping out the Cheap Thrills race team also. Some of the sponsors behind them are the Beach Club, Crew Chief Auto, and Marine. And they've done a fine job working together to bring the Cheap Thrills 2 race team all together this year. In Thursday's race, they took a third place, which was a very good showing in the A-Class division. The A-Class is very competitive, with boats like Snakebite, Ocean Vest, Shortcut, Rainmaker. Cheap Thrills was right there. Lucky Strike was there also. With a third place finish, they came out of nowhere. They had a good run, and they were definitely recognized by Snakebite, Lucky Strike, and all the other competitors in that class. Rainmaker also took note, the fourth place boat. So Cheap Thrills needs to have another good run today, and with all the other boats so tightly congested in the middle of the pack in terms of their finishing, he needs a top 3 finish. You cannot count on other boats to break down or things like that. You must try to control your own fate and destiny as much as possible. And we're sure Andy Bodrock and Ron Hall of Cheap Thrills 2 would like to do nothing more than that. From Key West, Florida, it's the Cheap Thrills 2 race team. And now we come up on D3, Rev It Up race team. This is a 30-foot Chris Craft catamaran powered by 2 300 horsepower Johnson outboards. This boat is owned and driven by William Sarceno from Fort Myers Beach, Florida. He's got Terry Hill as his navigator, also from Fort Myers. And rounding out the Fort Myers crew, it's Byron Hill on throttles. Sarceno and the Hills making up the Rev It Up race team. Rev It Up took a 4th place on Thursday, so with a strong finish here today, they could be in the top 3. They must fight off Raz, Chet's Landing, Hot, BAM is there also, and Gonzalez's US1 Boat Manufacturing can never be counted out. So they need a very strong run. They know what the competition is. So we'll just have to see what happens. The Rev It Up Panama Jack race team, like we said, needs, I would have to say, somewhere in the top 3 finishers, because once again, you cannot count on anyone breaking, and you want to force the situation to the other drivers. So they must go all out and have a very strong finish. Right now, they're running behind Raz, Hot, and Chet's Landing, and Team Believer, who you saw get an excellent start. So Rev It Up Panama Jack has its work cut out for them, but there's still plenty of racing left, and they are must beginning to make their move right now. So from Key West, Florida, the boat that's trying to make the move in D-Class right now, Rev It Up Panama Jack race team. Rev it up, Panama Jack, having a very good run here in Key West. Trying to close the gap between himself and the lead group in that division. Now we come up on the boat that took first place in C Division in Thursday's race. C99, the Spirit of New Jersey. It is an all-white 33-foot Hydrotech powered by twin 375 horsepower Bandit Racing inboard motors with MDS outdrives. This boat is owned and throttled by William Senna from Matawan, New Jersey. Your driver is Paul Roskett from Fort Lee, New Jersey, and Will Senna also does the navigation. So the two-man crew of Bill Senna and Paul Roskett make up the Spirit of New Jersey race team. William Senna formerly had the boat Whopper X, which many of you might remember. Definite a fine run right here. Spirit of New Jersey, they took a first place in class on Thursday's race, so obviously they are the boat to beat in C class going into today's race. They're presently running in third or fourth place right now, behind Breakout, who you saw having a great run. Pipeline Express, Marine Machine is having a good run, but Spirit of New Jersey is also there, running very strong right now, as you can hear. From Key West, Florida, the Spirit of New Jersey having a very fine run, and he would like to finish in the top three to be in the top three competitors and finishers for the 88 World Championships. There you see that very pretty Hydrotech right there, and that rainbow paint job. C99, the Spirit of New Jersey, a great looking boat, and it sounds even better right now. That 33 Hydrotech Spirit of New Jersey looking very strong right now. Really closing the gap between himself and the leaders, the Spirit of New Jersey. Now we come up on a B boat. This is B24, the Intimidator race team. It is a 32-foot Hustler Deep V hull powered by twin 440 horsepower Merc Cruiser inboards with Merc Cruiser drives. This boat is owned and driven by John T. Gregorio Jr. from Linden, New Jersey. On throttles, he's got Ted McEwen from Elizabeth, New Jersey, and from Hampton Bays, New York, it's Michael Fiore as the navigator. The sponsors for the Intimidator race team are JTG & Son Scaffolding and House of Flowers. They'd like to extend a special thanks to all their sponsors for making this possible, and of course all the family support behind the Gregorios who have really made the Intimidator race team an intimidating race force out here in the open seas. The Intimidator did not have the best of runs on Thursday's race, but right now he is running extremely strong in the B division. He's looking very good. He knows the competition that he has to fend off. Fever, B52. Lady O was looking very good. But right now they're having a strong run, and we wish them all the best. From Key West, Florida, in the World Championships, it's the Intimidator race team headed up by John T. Gregorio Jr. Now, as Intimidator goes into the restricted area, we pick up B74, B-Way. This is a 24-foot deep V banana race hull powered by twin 220 horsepower Mercury outboards. This boat is owned by Francis Polcari from Hummerock, Massachusetts. Your driver today is Ronald J. Pomella Jr. from Marshfield, Mass. Your navigator is John C. Polcari from Hummerock, Mass. And on throttles, it's Ronald J. Pomella Jr. from Marshfield, Mass. The crew of Pomella and Polcari make up the B-Way race team. Some of the crew members who have done a great job for B-Way are Paul Besgen, John Davis, and Mary Pomella, who have done a fine job in helping out. Sponsors for this boat are Bridgeway Inn Restaurant, who have done a great job in helping B-Way get to where they are today. John Polcari and Francis Polcari alternate in the boat. They are the owners, and they do alternate as navigators in the boat. But in today's race, obviously, it's John's turn, and he's enjoying it to its fullest. The B-Way race team having a very fine run. They finished in the middle of the pack on Thursday's race, so they need a very strong showing here today to try to attempt to finish in the top three. Mathematically, anything is possible. They realize this, and they're going all out to try to have a strong finish. At this point in the race, we do have some interesting developments in Sportsman B division. Right now we hear over the radio that Joe Latona and Joe Scrow's Fever have broken down, which does open up things for some of the other competitors. However, the boats that needed to finish ahead of Fever race team have also broken down. That's Little Miss Dangerous and Regal Velocity are also down on the race course. We're not sure who broke first or exactly what's going to happen, but at this point in time, it certainly does make for an interesting finish as to what might happen in the B division. As we get more results, we will try to keep you updated on these interesting developments in Sportsman B with Fever, Little Miss Dangerous, and Regal Velocity out. It could be anyone's race in the B division. But right now we're going to stay on B-Way, B74, who's having a very good run in Key West, the B-Way race team. B-Way having a very good run, trying to close the gap between himself and the leaders. As we leave B-Way, we look back on the field to pick up another competitor. We'll just have to wait until this boat comes into view to bring positive ID. From what we can tell right now, this is A82, the Snakebite race team. This is a 28-foot sleek craft powered by a single 365 horsepower Merc Cruiser inboard and Merc Cruiser outdrive. A82 Snakebite is driven and throttled by Rich Massetti and navigated by John Denon, both from New York. this 28-foot sleek craft has been the boat to beat in the A Sportsman class in 1988. They are the national champion in the Northeast Division in A class for 88, and they came down to Key West, Florida, and did nothing but take a first place in Thursday's race. So the string of victories for Massetti Snakebite just keep adding up. We'd have to say that the consistency that this boat has shown throughout the 88 campaign, as well as the performance it has on Thursday, is a real tribute to the boat's designer and builder, Bruce Nesher of Sleecraft Boats. As you can see, Massetti is having a fine campaign. There you see he's got B-Way in his sights right now. He's closing the gap strongly, and he's making the move on the B-Way race boat right here. Massetti stalking another prey, ready to spring and coil on them, and he's definitely closing the gap, and in just moments about to make the move on the inside of B-Way. Rich Massetti having another great day of racing. Certainly the picture of consistency for the Snakebite race team. Earlier on, Vic Spellberg had a chance to catch up with Rich Massetti in the wet pits and get some of his thoughts on today's race.
Once again, lounging out on the Galleon docks with a guy making last-minute touches on his boat. An A-boat, single-engine boat, probably in for a pretty rough ride, Rich, tomorrow. What's your strategy?
Well, we're going to kind of like hang back against the leaders. There are a couple of fast boats in our class, and we'll let them plow it away for the first lap or two, and then we'll make our move in the last lap.
Any kind of different attitude against running a twin-engine boat and a single-engine boat? Are you really going to go for it at the beginning, or?
Well, like I said, we're going to try and hang back, and we'll see what the water conditions are like, and we'll feel them out that way.
Okay, with Northeast Divisional champions for 1988, there had to be several people responsible for you winning that title, Rich.
Yes, I'd like to thank my main sponsors, which is Richie Zool Racing Engines. He supplies the power for the boat. Mr. Ted's Muscle Boat Marina out in Copeg, Long Island. He got me the hull. And Joey and Pressure over at East Coast Marine will help me get it all together for the race. And my regular sponsors that all contributed cash or whatever to help me get down here to the world. I'd like to thank all of them very much.
Well, we wish you good luck, A82 Snakebite Offshore Racing Team. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Also, a sponsor who has been a great part of the Snakebite race team is Amsoil, who provides the lubricant that runs in those Zool power plants. Well, with a first in Thursday's race, basically all the Snakebite race team has to do is finish ahead of Lucky Strike to be your champion for 88 down here at Key West. It appears they know that Lucky Strike has had some problems and that they are out of the race. So basically, Snakebite just has to take it easy to ensure a finish ahead of them. Let's stay with them a bit and listen to Massetti work the throttles and really make those Zool motors sing out loud as they make sweet music on this run. This is going to be their final lap, and if all goes well, it could be down victory lane and the checkered flag, another first place for Snakebite, and the championship for 1988. A82, Rich Massetti Snakebite Race Team from Key West, Florida. Party's Over race team charging very hard right now. They're doing everything they can to try to close the gap between themselves and the leaders. Frank DeLuca, your navigator for today's race, come down from the New York metropolitan area, and he's really enjoyed hooking up with this field and sport of offshore powerboat racing. And we're certainly looking forward to seeing Frank DeLuca along with the Party's Over crew in the 1989 upcoming APBA campaign. From Key West, Florida, the Party's Over race crew. Gary Ballo is doing an excellent job on the throttling. He's got those Mercury outboard motors singing right now. Just listen to this boat go. B-22 Lady L race team. This is a 28-foot deep V-hull signature racecraft. This boat is powered by twin 400 horsepower Chevrolet inboard motors with Mercruiser outdrives. This boat is owned and throttled by Peter Meyer of Port Washington, New York. Anthony Lecaro from Port Washington, New York is your driver, and Thomas Lampus is your navigator. The Lady L race team. They had a disappointing finish in Thursday's race, finishing 11th, but right now this boat is on fire. The boat was on fire on Thursday also, running very strongly, but they had some mechanical failure Thursday, and right now they've fixed it, obviously, and the boat is running just as strong, if not stronger today. At the present time, they're unofficially running in second place behind B-52 race team right now, and with Fever out of the race. However, we have heard that they have gotten it going again, but they're so far off the pack, and Little Miss Dangerously and Regal Velocity out of the race. B-class has become wide open for anybody right now. And sensing this, Peter Meyer and Tony Lecaro are taking charge in B division, presently running in second place, and with a good finish here, once we get all the final results sorted out, they could be in the top 3 finishers. From the Lady L race team, I'd like to extend a special thanks to Guy LaMotta from Manhasset Bay Marine, who has been part of the Lady L race crew for many, many years. Their association has been nothing but a successful one and has kept Lady L in the forefront of offshore powerboat racing. I'd also like to thank Revere Super Service for Mobil One Oil and B&R Performance, Peter D Engines for building the engines, and Shore Refrigeration. So the Lady L race team right now is looking very strong. Peter Meyer, Tony Lecaro, Tom Lampus, the Lady L race team, presently in second place, and depending on how things go, if they finish this way, they could be in your top 3 finishers for the finals of the World Championships in Key West, Florida in B Division. From Key West, the Lady L race team. Once again, Peter Meyer is doing a fine job throttling the Lady L race team. Now we come up on truly a miraculous story. B6, the Fever race team. This boat has been out of action for a minimum of 30 minutes at least, if not more. They had mechanical difficulties. Members of the crew obviously fixed the boat. And once again, Fever race team is charging hard. This is a 28-foot Manta powered by twin Chevy motors with 550 horsepower each, built by Richie Zool. The motors are built by Zool and maintained by Joey Latona. You've gotten Joe Scrow as your driver, Joe Latona on throttles, Jim McElhatton as your navigator, and the boat is owned by Scrow and Latona combined. Fever race team, this is truly a miraculous story, but nonetheless, this is what makes champions. They had a great run on Thursday, taking first place, and with the mechanical problems that they had, it has dropped them way back in the pack to perhaps 11th, 12th, 10th place. We're not sure yet until the final results are compiled. But rather than just sitting in the back and waiting, they came back strong and they're running hard now. Listen to this boat as they come down the beach leg heading for Mallory Square. Latona's got this boat pegged down, dialed in, and going all out. He's going for broke right now, and Fever race team is charging toward the start-finish boat. We still do not know how this boat goes as strong as it does for a B boat. They've been clocked at speeds over 90 miles per hour, and they're true champions. Rather than just sitting out there and limping in with whatever finish, these guys know they need to maintain a decent finish. So even with finishing right now, they're running strong, could be 10th or 11th place. Mathematically, they still might have a chance of winning this thing with all the other boats out. So we're going to stay with Fever as they head toward the start-finish boat. Of course, we'll be unable to bring you their finish as they go into Mallory Square due to FAA regulations forbidding us from flying in that airspace, but we're going to stay with them as long as possible, and after that we'll be compiling your final results, where we'll be bringing you the final results of the 1988 Offshore World Cup Championships from Key West, Florida.